Good day everyone! In this video tutorial, we will be discussing the properties of operations on integers. What will be our learning objectives? First, we will state and illustrate the different properties of operations on integers, and second, we will write the given expressions according to the given property. Let's have the first property. This property is the closure property. Closure property states that two integers represented by a and b that are added and multiplied will remain as integers. What do we mean by this? To better understand this concept, let us take these examples. So if I have a plus b, where a and b are integers, the resulting sum is also an integer. For example, 4 plus 7 is equal to 11. We know that 4 is an integer, 7 is an integer, and the result is 11, which is also an integer. So it satisfies the condition a plus b is equal to integer. Therefore, closure property is true under addition. For multiplication, if you will be multiplying two integers, the resulting product must be an integer. Example, I have 4 times 7 is equal to 28. 4 is an integer, 7 is also an integer. The product, which is 28, is also an integer. So, it satisfies the given condition of closure property a times b is equal to integer. Therefore, we can conclude that closure property is also true under multiplication. Is the set of integers closed under subtraction? If I have a minus b, will be the resulting difference be also an integer? Let's verify this with these examples. I have 4 minus 7 is equal to negative 3. So 4 is an integer, 7 is also an integer, and the difference, which is negative 3, is also an integer, particularly a negative integer. Another example, if I have 7 minus 4 is equal to 3, 7 is an integer, 4 is an integer, and the resulting difference, which is 3, is also an integer. Therefore, is closure property also true under subtraction? The answer is yes. Closure property is also closed under subtraction. Now, how about under division? Is the set of integers closed under division? If I have a divided by b, is the resulting quotient also an integer? Let us see by citing some examples. For example, 16 divided by 4 is equal to 4. 16 is an integer, 4 is an integer, and the resulting quotient 4 is also an integer. So it satisfies the given condition. But there is a counterexample for this. For example, 4 divided by 16 is equal to 1/4. The resulting quotient is 1/4, which is a fraction and not an integer. So, not all two integers when are divided yield to a quotient of an integer, like 4 divided by 16. Therefore, is division closed under closure property? The answer is no. Closure property is not closed under division.
Another property is we have the commutative property. Ano nga bang ibig sabihin ng commutative property? This is where we are changing the order. Take note of the word order of the addends or factors, and it does not affect the result. So what does it mean? The result is not changing, okay? So let's have an example. If I have a plus b, at pag pinagbaliktad daw natin ang order nila at ginawa nating b plus a, they are still equal daw. So afterwards, I will give an example and let us see if this is true under addition, if commutative property is true under addition. Now, let's move for multiplication. If I have A times B is equal to B times A, pag binaligtad ba natin sila, equal pa rin kaya? So let us see. Let's have an example if commutative property is true under multiplication. Take a look on this example under commutative property of addition. Example number 1. So I have here 3 plus 5. Let's try to interchange. So I have here 5 plus 3. Now, 3 plus 5 is equal to 8. And 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. What have you noticed? They are still equal. Yes, they are still equal even we interchange their order. Let's have another example. If I have 3 plus the quantity 5 plus 2. So paano natin gagawin itong commutative property? Since nakagroup si quantity 5 plus 2, ilalagay natin siya sa unahan as si 3 naman ay ililipat sa kabila. So pinagpalit natin yung order or yung pwesto. Now, let's add. Since nakagroup si 5 plus 2, sila ang uunahin nating i-add. 5 plus 2 is equal to 7 plus 3 is equal to 10. So let's move to the right side. Since nakagroup ulit si 5 plus 2, sila ang uunahin. 5 plus 2 is equal to 7 plus 3 is equal to 10. So, as you can see, they are still equal. So, this is an example of commutative property under addition. Let's proceed under commutative property of multiplication. Example number 1. I have here 3 times 5. Baliktarin natin, magiging 5 times 3. Now, 3 times 5 is equal to 15. And 5 times 3 is also equal to 15. What have you noticed? They are equal? Are they the same? Yes, they are equal and they are the same. Let's have another example. 2 times the quantity 3 times 4. Pag gagawin natin commutative property, mauuna si the quantity 3 times 4 kasi nakagroup ito. At isusunod si times 2. So, pinagpalit natin yung order nila. Let us see if commutative property is true under multiplication. So now, let's multiply. Since nakagroup si the quantity 3 times 4, sila ang uunahin. 3 times 4 is equal to 12 times 2 is equal to 24. Let's move to the right side. Since nakagroup ulit si the quantity 3 times 4, sila ang uunahin. 3 times 4 is equal to 12 times 2 is equal also to 24. So, they are equal. Therefore, commutative property is true under multiplication.
Next, let's have the associative property. If in commutative property we are changing the order, this time in associative property we are changing the grouping. Paano nga ba natin malalaman na nakagroup siya? Kapag ginamitan natin ng bracket o parenthesis. So always remember that when we are talking about group, ginagamitan natin siya ng bracket o parenthesis. Okay? So again, what is associative property? Associative property is where we are changing the grouping of the addends or factor but does not affect the result. Let's have this representation. In addition, when we add, we can group the number in any combination. If I have A plus B plus C, what do we mean by group? As we can see in this equation, quantity A plus B plus C is equal to A plus the quantity B plus C. In the left side, A plus B ang magkasama. But in the right side, B plus C na. But the sum of the two is still equal. We call this associative property of addition. In multiplication naman, same lang din. We can also group the number in any combination. As we can see in the equation, quantity A times B times C is equal to A times the quantity B times C. Magkaiba sila ng group, but the product of the two is still equal. We call this associative property of multiplication. Let's have this example on associative property of addition. Quantity 3 plus 5 plus 2 is equal to 5 plus the quantity 3 plus 2. 8 plus 2 is equal to 5 plus 5. 10 is equal to 10. Let's have another example. 2 plus the quantity 3 plus 4 is equal to 2 plus 3 plus 4. 2 plus 7 is equal to 5 plus 4, 9 is equal to 9. So they are equal. Therefore, associative property is true under addition. Now, let's move on to associative property of multiplication. Example, 3 times the quantity 5 times 2 is equal to quantity 3 times 5 times 2. 3 times the quantity 5 times 2 which is 10 is equal to 3 times 5 which is 15 times 2 and 30 is equal to 30. Another example, quantity 2 times 3 times 4 is equal to 2 times 3 times 4. 6 times 4 is equal to 2 times 12. 24 is equal to 24. So they are also equal. Therefore, we can also say that associative property is true under multiplication.
Now, let's have the fourth property. We have the distributive property. From the word distributive, ibibigay mo siya sa bawat isa. Okay, for any integers A, B, and C. So, if I have here A times the quantity of B plus C, so, ita-times natin yung A times B is equal to AB. And then, A times C is equal to AC. So, now, this is addition because the operation here is addition. And next, subtraction. So, here, A times the quantity of B minus C. So, ita-times natin yung A times B is equal to AB. And then, A times C is equal to AC. So, now this is subtraction because the operation here is subtraction. So, for example, if I have here negative 6 times the quantity of 5 plus 3. So, first, let's get the negative 6 times 5. So, ito na yun. And then, negative 6 times 3. So, here it is. And then, take note, the operation used is addition. Okay, so next, negative 6 times 5 is equal to negative 30. And then, negative 6 times 3 is equal to negative 18. So, negative 30 plus negative 18, let's go back to the rules in adding integers. Same sign, add and keep. Okay, so, negative 30 plus negative 18 is equal to negative 48. So, negative 48. Let us see if hindi natin gagamitan ng distributive. So, ito yung original, di ba? Negative 6 times the quantity of 5 plus 3. First, let's get 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. Okay, so we bring down negative 6. And then, negative 6 times 8 is equal to negative 48. So, as we can see, using distributive property, ganun pa rin. Therefore, distributive property under addition is true. Now, we move on under subtraction. So, here, we have 4 times the quantity of 4 minus 2. Okay, so 4 times 4, and then 4 times 2. Okay, take note the operation used was subtraction. So, 4 times 4 is equal to 16, minus 4 times 2 is equal to 8. So, 16 minus 8 is equal to 8. Now, let's see without using distributive. So, here, 4 times the quantity of 4 minus 2. So, first, 4 minus 2 is equal to 2. Then, we bring down 4. So, 4 times 2 is equal to 8. Now, this is the distributive property under addition and subtraction. Okay, in multiplication, use distributive property to find each product. So we have an example here, 8 times 13. So if we cannot multiply numbers mentally, we can use distributive. So we have 8 times the quantity of 10 plus 3. 10 plus 3 is the same with 13. Okay, so now 8 times 10 and then 8 times 3. So take note, the operation used is addition. So 8 times 10 is equal to 80 and 8 times 3 is equal to 24. 80 plus 24 is equal to 104. So 8 times 13 is equal to 104. Here in number 2 example, we have 7 times 104. So we cannot multiply this number mentally. So we will use distributive. So 7 times the quantity of 100 plus 4. 100 plus 4 is the same with 104, right? So we will have 7 times 100 and then 7 times 4. Take note, the operation used is addition. So 7 times 100 is equal to 700. 7 times 4 is equal to 28. 700 plus 28 is equal to 728. So 7 times 104 is equal to 728.